hands out for the first match on the programme, the junior match between Kingstanding and Raw and Horspath Lano Car Hire, and they're coming out onto the centre green, led out by the team managers, George Biles and Eric Harvey. That's Eric Harvey of Kingstanding, George Biles of Horspath, for the presentation on the centre green to the representatives of Corona Soft Drinks and to the representatives of the Cycle Speedway Council. And so, in a moment, the presentations will begin. The riders, as you see, lined up 1 to 8 with the captains at the fore, and the referee also there in the centre, Dave Linston. So, out onto the centre green, we have our representatives, Roger Seymour from the Bristol Club. We have horses to have a cheer for their riders. Jimmy rides very well at Airport Road, very strong rider, looking for him to do well this afternoon. Anyway, we're coming down the line. Next one in line is Adrian Woolley. Adrian Woolley, number 2 for Kingstanding this afternoon. Number 3 coming along. Next one, we've got Nick Harvey. There's Nick shaking hands there with Roger Hancock. Having a good chat as we go down the line, but the bikes are being lined up in the right place, which is lovely. We're coming on down again. Number 4 is Andy Goff. And as you see, the Andrew riders have the numbers on their sleeves, so you can identify them readily. Number 5, Paul Smith. Coming on down to number 6, Mike Smith. He's having a lovely grin there as he shakes hands. Number 7, Phil Morgan. And waiting down the end, yet to have his hand pumped. Looking very, very pleased with himself. Good old John Best. We haven't got to him yet, so you can keep your cheers for just a second, because we haven't got the John. Here we come. Number 8, John Best. That's it then, there we are, the home team in the programme, Kingstanding and Raw Monarchs, and they're out ready for the parade. Now we're coming across now, we have the referee of the meeting from Manchester, Mr. Dave Linston. Dave Linston shaking hands with Roger Hancock. And next in line, when we got past Dave, the Horspath team manager, George Biles. George, one of the most experienced men in the Cycle Speedway game, been about for a very long time now. Experienced team manager, he's ready to lead his team on to their match. That's it. That's a lovely bit of conversation as well. Now we're moving down to the team, the skipper, Steve Cox. And did I hear somebody have a boo? That's mortal. We mustn't do that, we've got to cheer. Can't boo. We don't like people who boo, we throw them in a stream. Lovely. Never mind, you can if you want, we're only kidding. So there we are, the skipper, Steve Cox. Next in line, number 1, Ian Mitchell. Oh, lovely. Smashing match, that's it. Number 1, Ian Mitchell. Big strong rider, going to enjoy himself here this afternoon. Number 2, Chris Smith. And I see we've got some Horspath cheers coming along, that's nice. Chris Smith there, Horspath Lano. Number 3, coming down the line, Mark Brennan. And number 4, Mark Squires, as we're going on ahead of herself. Number 5 now, Alan Martin. We're coming on a little bit ahead, but we're getting down there. That's it, now with a good chat and a shake. Everybody's shaking everybody's hands. It's smashing, eh? Number 7, nearly there. Not quite. Got to wait. Got to be ready for that big cheer when we get there. That's smashing. Number 7, when we get there, is Nigel Smith. There we are. Oh, Nigel's having a good shake. Wonder what sort of shake he's having. There we are. Lovely. Wobbling his gloves about by the look of it. So we're getting on down that list. And number 8, down at the end, Richard Edge. There we are, the real big gun there in the Horspath lineup. Richard Edge done so well this year in individual competition and for his team in the English League. He's a rider who piles up lots of points. And with Steve Cox, Richard and all the rest going their great guns this afternoon, I'm sure we're going to see some really excellent racing. So, we have all the riders introduced to you. Our referee, as I said, Mr. Dave Vincent from Manchester. Our thanks, sir, to John Mealing, Roger Hancock, Len Cox, and of course, positions do alternate. The team will win the toss of the coin. They have the option of choosing the gate positions in Heat 1. Thereafter it alternates Horspath 2 and 4 in the first heat. So there they are, 2 and 4 for Horspath in Heat 1. That's the way we keep going, alternating heat by heat. And the riders for the first heat for Kingstanding, Jimmy Varnish and Adrian Woolley. And for Horspath, Ian Mitchell, Chris Smith. And no sooner did I give you that, we find we've got a change in the very first heat. It's slowly coming, but it's got it at last. Number 8, John Best.
Kingstanding team on gates 1 and 3. And already we can see the wind causing problems, blowing the starting tapes away from the riders. The riders are under orders. As the tapes go up, the British champion Jimmy Varnish goes straight into the lead. And we see that Kingstanding have also made a substitution. Jimmy Varnish away in the lead. It's John Best for Kingstanding. It was Kingstanding who had made the substitution. Varnish, the British champion, away in the lead with John Best moving in from reserve, and John Best in second place, holding off the desperate challenges from Ian Mitchell of Horspath. The Horspath pairing, Mitchell and Smith. Still Varnish and Best as they come to the checkered flag. The British champion, Jimmy Varnish, backed up by John Best, 7 points to 3, and first blood to Kingstanding. The riders are under starters' orders. As the tapes go up, this time Horspath away into first and second place. Edge leads from Brennan. Nick Harvey raising a strong challenge on the outside. Edge away in front. Brennan holding off Harvey. Harvey challenges on the inside, but Brennan covers the gap. Harvey challenging again on the inside, and again Brennan covers that gap. 1 lap to go. Brennan pulls away from Harvey. Harvey challenging again. Nick Harvey on the inside. Brennan once again tight down on the line. At the line it's Richard Edge. Mark Brennan. 7 points to 3 to Horspath, and the score is equalised at 10 points all. Referee Glynston places the riders under starters' orders. And as the tapes rise, it's Steve Cox who races into the lead from gate 2. And his partner round on the outside. Cox will nurse him home, looking for 7 points here. Alan Martin leads for Horspath Hammers. Steve Cox protecting him on the inside. The challenge coming from number 6, Mike Smith of Kingstanding. It's still Alan Martin with Steve Cox, and Mike Smith is losing contact in third place. Paul Smith's well away at the back. Mike Smith still challenging Steve Cox, protecting his partner. Into the last bend, it's still Alan Martin and Steve Cox at the line. Alan Martin and Steve Cox for Horspath, 7 points to 3 for Horspath, and the Oxford Village team lead by 17 points to 13. Referee Dave Blinston places the riders under starters' orders. And as the tapes rise, it's British champion Jimmy Varnish straight into the lead. A tangle behind him leaves the Horspath riders in second and third. Nigel Smith second, Ian Mitchell third. And the spoils look to be shared in this race. And an incident of drama as Phil Morgan rides into the starting post and is left lying on the track.
The referee has stopped the race. There's an interest of safety there. Well, the young man who came off on the track, and so we'll be sorting things out at the moment. That's it. And we'll see what the referee's decision is in just a second.
The referee places the riders under starters' orders. And straight into the lead again, Jimmy Varnish. Good challenge from Ian Mitchell, but Varnish just clears him on the first bend. So it's Jimmy Varnish in front. The British champion leads, but if Horspath don't get past him, the race will be 5-4 to Horspath, as Jimmy Varnish doesn't have a partner. Mitchell raising a furious challenge, but Varnish 2 or 3 lengths clear. A comfortable gap for the West Midlander. 1 lap to go and Varnish still leading. At the line it's British champion Jimmy Varnish, followed by Ian Mitchell and Nigel Smith. The result of the race, Horspath 5, Kingstanding 4, and the score, Horspath Hammers now 22 points, Kingstanding 17.
Keeps away, because quite honestly it's about the first drawing for the weather we've had for a very long time, as you can see with the nice damp track.
The referee places the riders under starters' orders. John Best into the lead from gate 1. Edge challenging on the outside. Smith on the inside. And Best slips and the two Horspath riders swoop past. And it's 7 points to 3 for Horspath if they hold this advantage. But John Best is not to be shrugged off so easily. Best challenging strongly in third place. Edge doing his best to protect his partner, and he's tucked in there behind Smith, and that'll make Best's chances all the harder. Horspath should hold this. Just over 1 lap to go. Smith leading with Edge protecting that lead. Best challenges furiously on the inside. Edge still holding that second place advantage. Coming to the line, Smith is first. Edge is second, John Best third, and Adrian Woolley fourth. 7 points to 3 for Horspath Hammers. The score moves on to Horspath 29, Kingstanding 20. And after 5 races, 9 points looks to be a very big gap indeed for the Birmingham team. And as I look on the riders under starters' orders, and it's Horspath riders once again into the lead, and I see that number 3 Mark Squires has been subbed by number 7 Nigel Smith. The Oxfordshire team away again, number 3 leading, Mark Brennan in the lead, Nigel Smith team riding with him. The challenge coming from number 6 Mike Smith. And once again the Oxford lads look to have this sewn up. But a good challenge from Mike Smith on the inside. He's run off the track there. The referee doesn't seem to have deemed that a problem. Nigel Smith, he will this time. He will this time. Mike Smith has been disqualified for going over the inside edge. At the line, Mark Brennan the winner. In second place, Paul Smith. And in third place, Nigel Smith. 6 points to 3 for the Oxfordshire team. The score moves on. Kingstanding Monarchs 23, Horspath Hammers 35. Referee Dave Blinston places the riders under starters' orders. And as the tapes go up, it's Cox into the lead and Varnish a tangle at the first bend. Varnish was halfway round. Mr. Blinston not at all happy with the start and recalls all 4 riders back to the starting tapes. Jimmy Varnish not quite ready, raises his hand to the referee to indicate that he's not quite ready. The referee places the riders under starters' orders. As the tapes go up, it's Steve Cox into the lead. And in that time, Steve Cox held Jimmy Varnish but couldn't get round John Best. He ran Varnish out to get his partner through. Once again a tangle. All 4 riders in the rerun, and once again the riders race to the pits to clean off those back tyres. It is so critical for the riders on the starting area. A slip means at this level of competition you are literally out of the race. Nobody wants to slip, and everybody rushes from the pits with brushes. They're all very anxious to get those tyres cleaned up. The referee places the riders under starters' orders. And the referee excludes Jimmy Varnish, the British champion, and I heard the referee say to him, sorry, you moved first. That is the referee's decision. Later on, with the advantage of playing this tape back through your televisions, you can do the instant replay and give your own opinion as to which rider may have moved first. The referee places the riders under starters' orders. And once again, the referee's whistle goes, and this time Steve Cox disqualified for moving while under starters' orders. And as Steve Cox makes his disappointed way back to the pits, we're left with John Best on gate 1 and Alan Martin on gate 4.
Spectators remain absolutely silent, because if you see any small noise to make a rider move, if he moves he will be excluded, and so again I'll appeal for absolute silence while the riders are at the pace.
The riders are under starters' orders. And into the lead, it's John Best from Kingstanding. Counters a challenge from Alan Martin at the first bend. Best away in the lead in the back straight. Keeping an eye on Martin. Alan Martin raising a challenge on the outside. Best moves to block him. Martin still on the outside, drawing level with Best. And pulling that broadside, John Best away into a clear lead, which he won't surrender now, short of making a bad mistake. Best is away, he doesn't have to worry too much about his line. Personable young West Midlander winning this race. Been riding for 1.5 seasons and made such rapid progress in the sport, but with a club like Kingstanding behind him, that is not surprising. The win for John Best from Kingstanding. Alan Martin comes in second. The score: Kingstanding Monarchs 4, Horspath 3, and the match score moves on. Kingstanding 27, Horspath 38. The riders finding trouble settling down in this fairly strong breeze that's blowing. It's very critical to be in precisely the right position at the start.
Steady yourself.
And the riders are now under starters' orders. And into the lead, it's Nick Harvey for Kingstanding from gate 2. Smith challenging inside him, Harvey away in the back straight. Harvey in the lead, Mitchell challenging, Smith on the inside, still Harvey. Mitchell comes strongly on the outside. Still Nick Harvey for Kingstanding. But his partner Andy Goff needs to make more impact. It's still Harvey, countering the strong challenge of Mitchell. And Goff through into third place, while Mitchell makes a furious challenge on the outside. Harvey holding Mitchell. Smith comes back under Goff. Goff moves over on Smith. Mitchell has hit Harvey. Harvey's off. Mitchell's in the lead. Partner Smith in second. The referee didn't see anything wrong with that. Another flag is Ian Mitchell. And Chris Smith for Horspath Hammers, with Andy Goff third, and another 7-3 result to the Horspath team. The riders are under starters' orders. As the tapes go up straight into the lead, Mark Brennan, but he's countered by Paul Smith, and it's Nigel Smith who comes out in the lead. Nigel Smith leading for Horspath. Paul Smith in second. Phil Morgan trying to hold Mark Brennan. Brennan past Morgan. The riders space out with Nigel Smith leading, Paul Smith second, Mark Brennan third, and Phil Morgan tailed off at the back. Smith away in a fairly unbeatable lead by the looks of things here. Nigel Smith for Horspath leading this race. Paul Smith of Kingstanding holding a comfortable second. And at the line, Nigel Smith for Horspath Hammers, Paul Smith for Kingstanding, Mark Brennan for Horspath, and Phil Morgan tailed off in last place. The score for that race, 6 points to Horspath, 4 to Kingstanding, and at the interval the score, Kingstanding 34 points, Horspath Hammers 51. The riders on the start for the recommencement of the match, Heat 10. Reminding you that the score is still Kingstanding 34, Horspath 51. The referee David Blinston places the riders under starters' orders. With the tapes up, it's Richard Edge away from gate 1 into the lead. Best challenges on the outside, Smith on the inside. Smith still there, but Edge pedals on into that bend. And he's now Best in second place, challenging strongly, and he's through. but Edge doubles back under him. Smith leads from Edge, Best third, Best challenges again, and Best through again. Edge challenges again on the inside, and again he's past John Best. Edge takes Best to the outside edge of the track, Edge's partner through. Smith well away in the lead, and little Mark Squires in second. Edge protecting him and Best in third place. Best challenging strongly on the outside, but there's only this last bend. Best challenging on the inside. As they cross the line, it's Mark Squires second, Richard Edge third and John Best fourth. The points shared 5 apiece. The score moves on. Kingstanding 39, Horspath 56. The referee places the riders under starters' orders. And it's Steve Cox jets from the tapes into the lead. Alan Martin on the outside, but he won't get round Harvey. Harvey holds Martin. And Goff back in there. It's a 5-all at the moment. Alan Martin racing along on the outside. He gave Nick Harvey some physical effort there at the corner, but it's still Steve Cox a long way out in front, with Andy Goff and Nick Harvey second and third. But this result won't do a lot for Kingstanding. Horspath won't mind. They're plenty up with not a long way to go. Martin challenging furiously, and it's taking Harvey all his time to protect his partner. No question of Steve Cox being caught. He's home. Andy Goff second, Nick Harvey third, and an ever-trying Alan Martin in fourth place. 5 points apiece to score now. Kingstanding 44, Horspath 61. Riders under starters' orders. Brennan holds Varnish into the first bend, and Smith comes under Varnish. Varnish pulls away and raises a challenge on the leader. Brennan tries to move him out so Smith can come through. Varnish still content to sit second for a moment. He won't stay there a lot longer. Varnish outside Brennan, waiting for his moment. It's the usual Jimmy Varnish tactic. Smith under Varnish, but Varnish changes up a gear and races under Brennan, and it's Varnish into the lead. Varnish away in the lead. And the referee, Mr. Blinston, has told Varnish that he's excluded. And a shocked looking Jimmy Varnish. The referee, Mr. Blinston, decreed that challenge on Mark Brennan was a bit too fierce, and poor Jimmy Varnish excluded again, leaving his partner Adrian Woolley on his own, and the race goes 7 points to 2 to the Horspath riders. Referee Dave Blinston places the riders under starters' orders. From the tapes into the lead, it's Paul Smith, Mike Smith for Kingstanding. Mitchell challenges on the inside, Paul Smith in third. A brief ray of hope for the Kingstanding lads as they hold this 6-4. Mitchell caught for a moment in second place, but the challenge, when it comes, will be fierce. Mitchell changed his mind and held back. Mitchell still content to sit on the outside in second place. Still 6 points to 4 for Kingstanding. Mitchell still caught out in second. And here comes the challenge from Mitchell, and Mitchell races into the lead. That's changed things. Mitchell's away now. And to be honest, it looked as if Ian Mitchell won when he felt like it. The result of the race, 5 points to 5. Kingstanding 51, Horspath 73. And with 5 heats to run, that gap's still 22 points. The referee places the riders under starters' orders. As the tapes go up, it's Edge blocking off the man on gate 2. Edge into the lead with partner Alan Martin. Edge and Martin away. And from Horspath's point of view, this is merely the icing on the cake now. Goff challenging strongly in third place.
Go on, Edgy.
Edge still leading Martin home. Goff still raising that challenge in third place. He's with Alan Martin, but the extra legs aren't there. One's got the feeling that if Alan Martin had to, he's got a bit in hand. At the line, it's Richard Edge and Alan Martin. Another 7 points to 3 victory for the Horspath lads, and the score moves on. Kingstanding Monarchs 64, Horspath 80. Mr. Blinston places them under starters orders. And as the tapes go up, it's Steve Cox racing away from 4 into the lead. Challenged by Best, but Cox should be there. Best still makes that challenge, and the referee not happy. Mr. Blinston's made an exclusion, and I think he's picked the wrong man. Yes, he has decreed that John Best crossed over the inside edge, and John Best has been disqualified by the referee. The rider's under starters orders. The tapes are up, and it's Steve Cox away into the lead. Harvey trying to get round Smith, but it's Cox and Smith. And although Nick Harvey, fine rider as he is, will raise a stupendous challenge, and as I said, his chain has dropped off. And unfortunately for Nick Harvey, that's his race gone. It's Cox and it's Smith, and it's 7 points to 0. I was just going to say about the challenge that Nick Harvey would raise. He is a fine young rider, and then the chain was off, and it's a gift 7-0 to Horspath. It's purely academic. The writing was on the wall in the first half of the match. It's Cox, it's Smith, it's 7 points to 0. The score is 64-87. At the moment, the chairman of the Cycle Speedway Council, Mr. Bill Gill, who over the years, and just glad to take a raincoat from his wife, over the years Mr. Gill has done a considerable amount of work for and on behalf of Cycle Speedway. He has always been associated with committees and executive bodies who have done good work for riders. As I said, he is currently the chairman of the general organising body, the Cycle Speedway Council. This afternoon, little Mark Squires, their schoolboy rider, and on the outside, number 2 for Horspath, Adrian Woolley. The riders under starters orders. The tapes are up. Smith into the lead. Paul Smith away for Kingstanding with partner Woolley in second. Mitchell has been disqualified, and this is going to go 7-2 to Kingstanding. That's a bit of a turn up for the books. However, they're away. It's number 5, Paul Smith leading. Number 2, Adrian Woolley in second. Little Mark Squires pushing round hard in third place. He'll keep trying to the finish, but one can't realistically see him pulling back such big lads. Smith well away and clear. Woolley taking it somewhat more easy in second place. As they come to the flag, it's Paul Smith for Kingstanding. 7 points to 2. The Horspath score moves on to 89 points and 71 to Kingstanding. But I'm sorry to say that all that's done has made the final score line, when it comes up at the end of Heat 18, a bit more respectable. The riders are under starters orders. And it's Varnish away with no mistakes. Goff holds Cox. For the moment it's a 7-3 to Kingstanding, and will they hold it? Varnish well clear, Cox challenging. Goff is holding that second place. Cox challenges. It's still Goff. Varnish well away in front. Goff still holding Cox after 2 laps. Cox won't be shrugged off that easily. He's still there, and he still will be. The challenge is there. Cox goes inside. Goff still holding on for the moment, but Cox is there now, surely. And Goff. 5 points apiece. The score, Kingstanding 76, Horspath 94. Presentation from Mr. Roger Hancock, Southwestern Regional Manager of Corona. The first presentation to Mr. David Blinston, the referee.
That's the referee. Now we have the runners up.
And the rain absolutely bucketing down to try and spoil the event, but no doubt we'll manage. For the runners up, first of all, the captain, Jimmy Varnish.
Very young indeed this afternoon. Perhaps a little bit unlucky with his exclusion. Got 12 points.
Jimmy Varnish receives his award from Mr. Hancock.
There we are. Number 2 for Kingstanding, Adrian Woolley.
Had 2 rides today and scored a total of 6 points.
Number 2 for Kingstanding, Adrian Woolley.
So there we are, Adrian gets his replica. Number 3, Nick Harvey.
And number 3 for the Andrew sponsored outfit, Nicky Harvey.
In heat 15, but he's got 5 points. So Nick comes out for his trophy. Bit bedraggled, but that's the weather, you can't do anything about it. Number 4, Andy Goff. 10 points for Andy.
Number 4, Andy Goff.
That was going. That's it. So again, Lovely Hancock. So that's that trophy. Number 5 now, Paul Smith. And Paul, highest score today, 14 points. 2 seconds. He had a first in his last ride. 13 points there for Paul Smith.
And number 5, Paul Smith.
Probably glad that it's raining very heavily at the end now, so that went through this.
Number 6, Mike Smith gets his trophy from Mr. Hancock.
Phil Morgan.
And number 7 for Kingstanding, Phil Morgan.
Number 8 for Kingstanding, John Best. And he included a win in heat 7 and his total score.
And eventually number 8 for Kingstanding Monarchs, John Best receives his trophy from Mr. Hancock.
69 points.
And the captain of Horspath Hammers, with that great big trophy from Corona, Steve Cox.
Steve again, he wants a big smile, he's got one, that's lovely.
And Steve Cox hoists up that Corona trophy.
I really know he cares about the rain when he got the trophy. That's good. Lovely triple around.
Number 1 in the Horspath team, Ian Mitchell, receives his trophy from Mr. Hancock. Number 2 in the Horspath team, young Chris Smith.
Number 3, Mark Brennan.
Number 3, the underrated Mark Brennan, who did so well today. And now the little schoolboy, Mark Squires, who had 2 rides this afternoon. Number 5, Alan Martin, another underrated rider who's done so well today.
Nigel Smith.
Number 7, the reserve Nigel Smith. A splendid meeting for Nigel. And the top scorer for the Horspath team, Richard Edge, the tactical reserve who's raced so well this afternoon. And as the Horspath team come on the lap of honour, Steve Cox hoists up that Corona trophy high in the air. The Horspath Oxford Village team.